agency heating up. Good day, everybody. Welcome into First Takes. Thank you so much for hanging with us. I am Molly Karam alongside Will Kane, Kate Fagan, George Sedano from The Will and Kate Show and The George and Izzy Show. How are we doing, guys?
I'm great. How are you guys doing?
Doing so good.
It's good. It's good.
It's good.
Just good?
It's great. This is a big day.
Mm-hmm. All right. So let's talk about this big day. Let's get right into it and do what we do. So one of the biggest names on the market this offseason, certainly Kevin Durant. Our Mark Stein is reporting that Durant is the Warriors' top target in free agency. Will, would you be okay if he left the Thunder to go to Golden State?
I would not be okay with it. That's going to come as no surprise to you two. I think I have made you both well aware of where I stand on people joining super teams to win NBA championships. But let me add one little note. It depends on why Durant leaves Oklahoma City. If he leaves Oklahoma City to go to Golden State to win championships, I have a huge problem with it. If he leaves because he wants to play with some buddies and he's good friends with somebody on the Warriors, he and Klay Thompson hang out in the offseason, and he and Russell Westbrook just aren't clicking, that changes the equation. But the suggestion is he wants to go to Golden State to find a better place to win, and that I would have a problem with. And I think recent history, very recent history, supports me. Because here's why I would have a problem with it. Not all championships are built the same way. Not all championships are worth the same thing. They not all have the same value. LeBron James has illustrated within the past 5 days that one championship can be worth more than two. One championship in Cleveland for LeBron James is of more worth to his legacy, to his career, to the cities he played for, than two in Miami. I don't want George to take this too personally. I know Miami is close and dear to you.
It's all right.
But I think what we saw, George, in the last couple days is that one championship built in a city where you have an emotional tie, built in a city that loves you from birth, that you have a long-term relationship with, that you built with less of a supporting cast, not a group of superstar players, is of much greater value than him choosing to go to Miami and win two. So Kevin Durant's path needs to be the following LeBron James's Cavaliers title, and that would be winning one with Oklahoma City. If he chooses to go to Golden State, he's following LeBron's Miami path, and that's just quite simply not as good.
Well, it made it sound like you just said, and I don't feel like at the time the consensus was this way, that you made it seem like LeBron going back to Cleveland, he was going to a lesser team, when everybody made it feel like, oh, he was just kind of getting a younger version of what he had in Miami. So I don't buy that for 1 second.
You don't buy that Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love, or at that time,
listen,
Andrew Wiggins, are less of a version than Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh?
Yes, I did, but that was not the consensus here. Not at all. Okay, I was definitely in the minority when I was talking about that kind of stuff. So I would say in general, most people wouldn't agree with you there. And again, here's the reality of this situation. In the NBA, you are either known as a champion or you're not. And Kevin Durant doesn't want to be Patrick Ewing, Charles Barkley, who we all love, best thing on television in sports right now, but he doesn't want to be those guys. He wants to be remembered as one of the greats because he's already one of the greats of his era. And people don't remember that Clyde Drexler latched on to the Houston Rockets. They just remember that he won a championship, okay? And he still won at a time where he was a contributor. Kevin Durant is the same age as the stars at Golden State. They're all about 27 years old, and you're talking about a guy who is this close to beating them, right? So what happens is he realizes, I need to win a championship for my legacy. And the LeBron thing, to go back to that for 1 second, one championship in Cleveland is monstrous. No one's going to deny that. But really, it's about 3 championships. Because we were about to label him the worst MVP to win championships because he would have been 2-5 in the NBA Finals. He would have been worse. He had a worse record than Wilt Chamberlain at that point, who was 2-4, equal with LeBron going into this. So it's really not necessarily the one, Will. It's about the 3 and where he ranks because not very many guys have 3. But back to Durant for a second. Again, look at how destructive Oklahoma City was with Durant at the 4. You're talking about a team that wants to shoot the ball from 3. Who's better at the 4 than Kevin Durant if that's your game plan? With the Warriors and their ball movement, that's not what Kevin Durant is used to. Kevin Durant is used to hero ball, ISO ball, and that's what did them in the end against the Golden State Warriors because they went away from what was working, which was moving the ball. At Golden State, that's not going to happen if Kevin Durant's at the 4. He's going to capitalize, win, and create a dynasty if he goes there.
I'm going to focus on my radio partner here, Will Kane. The fundamental flaw in your argument about LeBron staying in Cleveland, winning a title equals KD staying in Oklahoma City and winning a title, it's a false equivalency because KD was not born and raised in Oklahoma City.
D.C. Should he go to the Wizards?
He was born and raised in D.C. And that's part of the reason why this title with Cleveland has been elevated to the status that we've seen it over the last few days. It's not just about LeBron winning a title with the team he was drafted into. It's about LeBron winning a title for his hometown and that kind of loyalty that he went back to. That's what's elevating it past just, oh, he stuck around on that same team for so many years. KD, as George said, KD has already been in Oklahoma City since 2007. He has to now ask himself, since he knows how that organization works and what they have there, whether or not he can win a title there. And if he can't win a title there, well, then no titles is certainly going to be less viewed well by the NBA community afterward than any title at all with the Golden State Warriors.
Well, and this notion that you want to, that if he goes to a championship team, you think less of him as opposed to playing with his buddies? Isn't everybody's goal in any walk of life to be the best at what you can possibly be? That just sounds ridiculous, Will.
I don't know why you're separating it to, if he plays with his friends, I'm cool with that.
Right.
It's because of what his motivation would be. If it's to get a cheap title, it's less. Now, give me some
So LeBron did both. He went with his friends and won championships. So why is that bad?
I'm playing zone here. You guys are. It's 2-on-1. So let me rebut both of you now. Okay. Give me a tad bit of room. First of all, you know what a remora fish is? Remora fish is a little fish that swims underneath a shark and eats up the scraps of what the shark leaves behind. Clyde Drexler, with all due respect to Clyde Drexler, no one thinks of him as a champion. No one thinks of him as a Houston Rockets champion. You know what they think, George? They think Hakeem Olajuwon's championship. Now, that's the risk that Durant runs. He goes to Golden State, he becomes the remora fish. Drexler is Hakeem's remora fish. He becomes Curry's remora fish. Now, I'll be honest, I think if he goes to Golden State, he probably becomes 1A pretty quick, and Steph becomes 1B. But there will be those that diminish what he does. They'll say he signed on to Curry's championship team. He signed on to Curry's legacy because Curry already won one. He will be seen as the remora fish, and that will lessen his legacy. Hold on, I haven't even got to your arguments yet. And
you can't be a remora fish or whatever.
You gotta let me respond to both of you.
You can't be if you're Kevin Durant and you are option 1A. That completely negates what you just said.
No, I'm saying not everybody is as rational as the three of us sitting at this table.
If you're picking up the scraps off of the shark, then you're not the 1A.
Right.
You're like 4D.
But what we're talking about when you talk about legacy, Kate, is you're talking about subjectivity, the way people view you. I will view him as 1A. There will be many who will not, who will view him as the remora. Hold on, because I've got two people I'm fighting with here. You on the LeBron comparison.
Two remora fish.
You're right.
We're remora fish and he's the shark.
Right, clearly he thinks he's the shark.
I'm going to let that sit for a minute because I liked it.
Yeah, marinate on that.
Regarding whether or not the comparison to LeBron is a false equivalency, you're right. LeBron's ties to Northeastern Ohio are deeper, much deeper than Kevin Durant's to Oklahoma City. But that doesn't mean they don't exist. And if Kevin Durant wins titles, and by the way, we have valued legacy and number of championships to such a degree that now we diminish, we allow people to sign up for easy championships. The truth is the value of the title is seen as something that has survived through the ups and downs and earned through the highs and lows. That's why LeBron's 1 in Cleveland is worth more than the 2 in Miami. Yes, Kevin Durant was drafted by Oklahoma City. So was Kobe in Los Angeles. So was Dirk in Dallas. So was Tim Duncan in San Antonio. And those 20 years for Dirk and Tim Duncan soon approaching in one city increase the depth of your relationship. That's what Kevin Durant has with Oklahoma City. He would never have it in Golden State, and that increases any potential championship he would get with that town.
Okay, listen. Here's the reality of this, and this is where your argument is flawed, trying to predict the future and how people are going to react to Kevin Durant if he wins championships at Golden State. When LeBron went to Miami, it was, oh, he's latching on to Dwayne Wade because Dwayne Wade's won championships. He's a finals MVP. And then who was the finals MVP for those 2 championships in Miami? It was LeBron. And then the narrative flips. It's like, oh, LeBron carried those guys. Of course he's got to leave to go to Cleveland. So you're telling me that Kevin Durant can't go to Golden State and be the one, be the guy, the difference maker that turned them from a team that won 1 championship to a team that became a dynasty and won several championships? That narrative can flip easily. We saw LeBron do it.
Let me ask you a very simple question. Would it be easier for Kevin Durant to win a title in Golden State or Oklahoma City?
We have no clue. We just watched.
We don't know
those
what the
two
rest of the
teams-
league is going
We
to
just
look
You
like.
can't
watched
answer that
those two
question,
teams
please.
play,
It
and
would
they
be-
basically played to a stalemate.
But Kevin Durant would be switching sides. They're not talking about the same equation.
Right, but you're asking.
So Kevin
okay,
Durant,
but
easier
what's the
championship.
question, though? Is
Golden
it,
State or Oklahoma City? Easier championship.
well, it depends on who's on LeBron's
Guys,
team.
you're avoiding it because you know the answer is obvious.
No, it's
the
not
answer
obvious.
is
Not if
Golden
LeBron.
State.
Not if
Where's LeBron
pairs up
playing, and
with-
who's he playing with? Like, that to me is the
Carmelo,
question.
You
Chris
guys have
Paul.
pulled the ripcord on your argument. You know it's easier.
How is it the ripcord? Because we're sitting here and
You're
we're actually
backing
being
out.
rational about it, that we don't know what the rest of the NBA is going
You
to look
don't
like?
know that it would be easier for Kevin Durant to win a championship with Golden State than Oklahoma City?
More than likely, it would be, yes. More than
and
likely.
that, in and of itself, diminishes the
But
accomplishment
you're being an absolutist.
versus Oklahoma City.
You're being an absolutist, though.
No,
like,
no.
because you're making it seem like, oh, it's a guarantee. Now, I do think he's going to win multiple championships if he goes to Golden State, but it's not a given he's going to win one right away.
I didn't
LeBron
say
didn't win
guarantee.
one.
I'm not being absolute. I
Well,
said
Will,
more likely.
Will, if you said that
Easier.
you'd be cool if he went to Golden State because he wanted to play with his friends, what if that's his motivation to go there? You're cool with it, and then he happens to win some titles.
Like
now,
LeBron.
Are you frowning upon the titles, even though you've already said you're
No,
okay
I said at
with
the very
him?
beginning, Kate, right? This is about your motivation. And if your motivation is to find your easiest path to a championship, then I think less of that path. If you want to play with your friends, and yes, you do win a championship as a byproduct, I get that. When LeBron went to Miami, the truth is there was part of him that just wanted to play with his buddies, wanted to play with Wade, wanted to play with Bosh. There was another part of him was signing up, yes, for easy championships. But I haven't heard anything about Durant having long-term good relationships, best buddies with Thompson and Curry and anyone else there. I haven't heard that's his motivation. I heard easy championship.
We talk all the time about where guys are drafted into. So you got guys drafted into Golden State. Now they're in a great situation where they can win titles. Kevin Durant is drafted into a situation that makes it so much harder and puts him in a position where if he decides to leave, now we diminish whatever he does accomplish. But
He's
we're
a
never
free
going to
agent.
diminish Steph
He can do
Curry
whatever the hell he
for
wants.
having gotten drafted into the Golden State
I don't
equation.
deny the right. We're
He
asking
can do
about
whatever the
what's
hell
my
he wants.
reaction.
And you shouldn't demean him if he wants to leave as a free agent. Like, people shouldn't have done that with LeBron. Now, we can argue about the decision and the way he went about it, but the reality was you're a free agent. You can leave, right? We've all been free agents in one shape or form, right? When we've been in our careers, and you've decided to move on somewhere else. You came here, right? Because ESPN is the worldwide leader. So did you, so did I, so did she. What's the difference?
I'm not talking about right. I'm talking about the way we view you.
All right.
Okay.
Case closed for right now. Coming out of the gate, firing, ladies
I'm
and
afraid it's
gentlemen.
not.
What happens when Will
It's
came
not
here?
about to slow down, I don't think, either.
Good. I love it. Let's keep it going. And we're going to continue it because LeBron was active on social media. He had a post on Instagram that irritated some people. We're going to react to that. We'll tell you what he said and get into it when we return.